All right, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Marley G, back at y'all in another episode of Run It With You. And today we got to run it about women getting in relationships, skipping out on that whole phase. Back to the Curry, situation with his wife. A lot of people feel like she's having these type of thoughts and things of that nature because she skipped out on having a whole phase and she just went right into marriage without letting her hair down, having fun, experiencing life, finding herself. And some people feel like whole phases are necessary because when you get into a relationship that's supposed to be long term, maybe like a marriage, you don't have any second thoughts, you don't have any regrets, you don't have any fear of missing out. You don't have any doubts of missing out, wonders, curiosities, all of your fun, all of your experimenting was fulfilled. Do I feel like whole phases are necessary for a long term relationship? No. I think they're very detrimental. For one, it'll be hard for a woman to pair bond with a man because she has so many different experiences with other men. For two, what man gonna want to wife up a hoe? Now, when a man is older, maybe in his 50s, he's probably not going to care about that, but it'll be in his best interest if he's 20, 30 to not just go ahead on and get with a woman that's had a promiscuous history because it's a chance that she's still going to have a promiscuous history and just going to make any type of sporadic decision at any given notice. I mean, usually females like that have bad decision making traits, bad behaviors, uh, high sex drive. They like to have spontaneous encounters. It's just not a good deal. They like to go out. They like to maybe dip it and dabble with drinking or drugs. It's just not a good deal. Um, Also, instead of having a whole phase, me personally, I would recommend a man get with a woman that had long-term relationships with a few men before she settled down with him because at least when you could have long-term relationships with a couple of men and you can experience a lot of different sexual things with these men, because you ain't got to just be a hoe for everybody. You could be a hoe for a couple of different men, just them exclusively. I think when she has those type of encounters and experiences, that'll be best instead of her just being freshly with you and all she knows is you. Because then curiosity might be able to get to the cat. Curiosity might can kill the cat. That urge and that wandering mind can eventually, go ahead on and experiment. Thus, why you see a lot of different housewives be messing with the pool boy, the cable guy, maybe because they missed out on their whole phase and they got married too early, or she just always been a hoe. Either one or two things. But if you get a girl who had experiences in long term relationships with a few guys before you, I think that's your best bet because she might have dealt with a toxic guy. She know how it feels to deal with a guy who's a toxic guy, a guy who is egotistical or narcissist, insecure, all these buzzwords. She probably actually dealt with a guy like that, controlling. Then when she meets a guy like you, assuming that you are a good guy and you're doing your part, you handling your business, she will then understand and decipher right from wrong, good from bad. What's a good relationship? What's a bad relationship? You want your girl to have some type of worldly experiences with these things. Um, Now you don't want your girl to just have so many different experiences with certain people because I think what can then happen is you ain't really got nothing to show her new, you know. But other than that, you want her to have some type of experiences so she could be able to have a grasp on what's really out there, you know. to already been through the mud, had a guy treat her bad. Now she can know how it is to now you don't want just so much trauma and baggage with her to the point where she just, you know, traumatized, but just a few little bumps in the road. I think that's the best thing because when she gets you, she'll know that she got a winner, you know. Um, so it's always good to vet your girl. It's always good to ask these questions about her past, how her last relationships were, how her last relationships ended. Do she still communicate with these guys, and so forth. Um, that's why I always say it's not good for a man in his mid 30s, maybe early 40s to just date with a young woman. If you 35 and you mess with a chick and she's 20, 21, first of all, if she's 19, 20, she's not even old enough to drink. Second of all, the time where she's 20, 21, she's going to be a completely different person by the time that she's 27. And that could be for better or worse. We all seen it. You seen somebody, they got their life on track. Years later, you don't know what happened. You see somebody, they ain't really doing too good. Years later, they might have become a better person. But by them becoming a better person, they whole type, of what they attracted to is way completely different. Just like me, I'm 35. My type is different than what it was when I was 21, 22. And I think women, as they grow older, they type will probably be different than what they was at 21, 22. So you don't want to get with somebody. And then as they're getting older, they realize, man, you're not really even the type of a cup of tea. You just got with them while they were young. And you don't want them to have these doubts, and have these thoughts as they're growing older. That's why you want to get them while they're already older. So if you like 35, they always say 7 years is a good time, it's a good age gap. So if you're 35, it'll probably be best to get with a woman that's 28. By the time she's 28, she's mature. She's already probably who she's gonna be, as far as growth wise. It's always more room to grow, but her foundation probably gonna be set, by the time she's 28. You just got to make sure you get with a good woman. But now some people are gonna feel like, well, if she's a good woman, regardless, she'll be a good woman at 20. She'll be a good woman at 21. A good woman is a good woman. Some people might feel like that, but either way, she could still be a good woman and probably realize that you're probably not even her type by the time she hit 28. And like I say, by the time when she's 20, she wouldn't have that much life experience, So she probably ain't really get a chance to go through no real whole phase. She probably ain't get a chance to go through multiple different long-term relationships, because how many relationships you could be in that's long-term? To me, long-term relationship is at least a good 4 to 5 years. 4 to 5 years with a single person. If you got like 3 of them, that's 15 years by itself already. That's 12 to 15 years. So, I think, getting with somebody who had like a few long-term relationships, that's probably your best bet. You definitely don't want to get with no girl who been through a whole phase and now you bringing her around. Your cousin know her, your mans know her. Like it's just not a good look. Can you turn the hoe into a housewife? It can happen. A lot of things can be possible, but you don't want to, go off that. You want to, your best bet to be just getting a good girl and making her a housewife. At the end of the day, there's gonna always be some exceptions to the rule. It's gonna always be some relationships that slip through the crack and just so happen made it and been happy. Just like Ice-T and his wife, they seem happy and they've been together for a long time. And I'm pretty sure she looked like she had a whole phase because I believe she was a sex worker or something. I can be wrong, but for a relationship that works like that, it's 1,000 of them that didn't work. So your best bet is just having good discernment, vetting somebody right, and hopefully you just pick the right person. But I definitely don't think a whole phase is recommended. I definitely think a lot of women keep women single by this rhetoric. I definitely think a lot of women keep women single by calling other women's pick me's. doing whatever to try to get a man, and it's coming off as desperation. But that's for another video. But let me know what y'all think. Men, do y'all think a whole phase is best for a woman, for her to settle down with? Men, I mean women, do y'all feel like having a whole phase before you settle down is best? Only for women only. Let me know down in the comment section below. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button on it. If you're not subscribed yet, what you're waiting for, go ahead on and subscribe. Hit the hype button. It helps out with the algorithm. Go ahead on and share this with somebody if you enjoyed it. Also, if you got anything that you want me to touch on, feel free to hit the email, write me. I will look at it. I will go ahead on and make a video on it. No cap, no filter 7@gmail.com. If you have a video that you would like me to react to, I really would like them. Go ahead on and send it to the email, no cap, no filter 7@gmail.com. Until then, I'm out.